Hi everyone, Rob here in the Accu workshop with another how-to guide. Today we're going to learn how to use and read a micrometer. Now you might be used to using a pair of calipers to precisely measure the diameter of screws or the pitch of their threads. These are great, and we've actually got a deep dive guide on calipers linked below if you want to master those later. If you're working in industries like aerospace, automotive or high-end watchmaking, you aren't just looking for an accurate measurement, you're looking for extreme precision. To that end, that's where you need to use a micrometer. But how do you use one? And how do you read its scale? Well, keep watching as we've got some tips and tricks for using them effectively, some stumbling blocks to avoid, and some pointers on how to get the most accurate reading possible out of yours. Let's get into it. Now, there are two main kinds of micrometers. Outside micrometers like this for taking an outside measurement, and inside micrometers like this for taking an inside measurement. Both come in analog and digital versions. There are also other specialist types of micrometers for depths, threads, sheet metal and tubes. Functionally, both micrometers have the same parts, but let's focus on the most common outside micrometers and go over their parts. First, we've got the frame. Owing to its name, it provides a functional frame for all the other parts to attach to it. Next up, we have the anvil, which is located here. This is a fixed in place measurement face, and opposing that, we have the spindle. This makes up the opposite measurement face and is what opens and closes the gap between the anvil and the spindle. Just as a side note, on an inside micrometer, the anvil and the spindle are actually inverted, so point outwards to give you an inside measurement. Next, we have the lock nut. As its name suggests, it's your way to lock your measurement in place so that you don't lose it. Following on, we've got the sleeve and the thimble scales. These are what actually give you the measurement reading. Sometimes you'll also find a Vernier scale above the sleeve scale, which gives you an additional decimal place of accuracy. Both the sleeve and Vernier scales are static, but the thimble scale moves around as you rotate the thimble here. This is what you turn to open and close the gap between the anvil and the spindle. Lastly, we've got the ratchet stop. This acts almost as a torque limiter to make sure that you don't close the thimble too tightly, potentially damaging the anvil or the spindle. Regardless of which type of micrometer you're using, the process of taking a measurement is pretty much the same. So, once you're familiar with an outside micrometer, you'll be able to take an accurate reading with an inside one too. With that said, now we know the anatomy of a micrometer, let's get into using one. Now, let's talk preparation. Because micrometers can take measurements down to 0.01 millimeter or 0.001 of an inch, it's vital to make sure that they are clean and properly prepared before you use them. Just like you wouldn't redline a cold engine, you shouldn't put a cold micrometer straight to work either. To ensure dimensional stability, let the tool acclimatise to your shop's ambient temperature, ideally about 20 degrees Celsius before taking any readings. Micrometers are so sensitive that even the heat of your hands can affect the measurements, so many of these have insulated grips. If they don't, or they're awkward to use, it's a good idea to use gloves or, if possible, a stand. Here's one that we've 3D printed. The STLs to build your own version of this are in the description below. You should also make sure that the workpiece you're looking to measure has reached room temperature too. Don't try and measure something freshly machined from the lathe or something that's been stuck in a delivery van, as the heat or lack thereof will make the reading inaccurate. Now that we're all warmed up, it's time to make sure all surfaces are free of oils and debris. Your first reach should be for a clean microfiber cloth, and then some IPA. Make sure you give the anvil and the spindle a good clean. And then we'll do the same for the workpiece. We don't want any contaminants getting in the way of accuracy. A little machinist tip, to get the micrometer extra clean, gently close the anvil and spindle on a fresh piece of printer paper, just until it catches and no more. Now gently pull it through to remove any last bits of debris. The paper acts as an ultrafine grit abrasive and traps any additional dust in its fibres as it's removed. If the paper won't move, you've tightened it too hard. Now that we've got everything nice and clean and it's the right temperature, it's time to confirm the 0 point on your micrometer. On an analog micrometer, start by slowly closing the spindle with the thimble until it's almost touching the anvil. Next, switch to the ratchet stop until the faces touch and the ratchet starts to click. At this point, the 0 marks on your thimble and sleeve scales should align perfectly. If it's slightly off though, don't panic. You'll just need to use a small spanner, usually provided in the case, to adjust the sleeve back to absolute 0. Of course, if you're using a digital version, the process is much simpler. Just wind the anvil and spindle closed and hit the 0 or origin button when you're ready to go. If you're struggling to 0 your micrometer, it might be time to look for a new one. Accu has a great selection of micrometers from top brands including Mitutoyo and Mar. These are available in both digital and Vernier formats. When you get to the end of this video, check out the link in the description to take a look. Now that we know our micrometer is prepared, cleaned and zeroed, we're ready to measure the head on this hex bolt. For this example, I want to check that the across flats measurement is in spec. Now, we can either hold the micrometer by the grip in our left hand or place it in the stand as we've done here. Now let's rotate the thimble counterclockwise to open up the anvil and spindle jaws. Now that we've got a nice gap between the anvil and spindle, we're going to position the head of the bolt between them. At this stage, the most important thing is to get it aligned properly. We can worry about getting the measurement later. Again, gloves are recommended here to ensure your hands don't introduce thermal expansion into the bolt. That can affect the measurements. What we're looking for here is to get it square, seated and steady. Now all that's left to do is to gently rotate the thimble clockwise until you're close. Then switch to the ratchet stop, closing the micrometer jaws on it until you hear 2 or 3 clicks, like this. Once you hear that, you know it's fully closed and ready to measure. If needed, you can also lock the spindle with the locking lever to keep everything as is. It's worth pointing out that if what you're measuring is flat and smooth like the head of this bolt, then it's pretty easy. However, if you're measuring something round, like the bolt's threads, try to make sure the anvil and spindle are square across the central axis of it. You can gently rock the bolt back and forth to check its alignment. In some cases, you might need specialist anvil and spindle faces that are concave to help seat the cylindrical components properly. Right, so that just about covers how to use a micrometer. If you've got a digital micrometer, all that's left to do is record your reading. Another little tip is to make sure you take multiple readings to make sure your measurements don't fluctuate. If you've got an analog scale, we're now at the bit that intimidates most people, and that's how to read a micrometer. A lot of folks see the different scales and start to panic, but once you know what they all mean, it's nothing to worry about. The same steps will always apply to any type of metric or imperial analog micrometer, only the measurements will be in inches instead. For this example, we'll go with metric, because we're British. There are usually up to 3 different scales on a micrometer. The first is a sleeve scale, which you can see here. This gives us the bulk of the measurement in millimeters, and in our case, each mark represents 0.5 millimeters. To figure out what reading we're getting from the sleeve scale, all we need to do is look for the last full mark to the left of the thimble. In this case, it's 7.5. That gives us a measurement of 7.5 millimeters. Next, we go to the thimble scale, which is here, and rotates all the way around the thimble. All we need to do here is find the thimble line that aligns closest with the reference line on the sleeve. Each of the thimble lines represents 0.01 millimeters, so the measurement here gives us 0.33 millimeters. For that final degree of accuracy, we're going to check this, the Vernier scale. Now, this is micrometer dependent, and yours may not have this scale, but I'm going to show you how to read it so you can take the most precise measurement possible. For accuracy, each one of these lines corresponds to 0.001 of a millimeter. To read the Vernier scale, we're looking for any line on your thimble scale that aligns perfectly with one on your Vernier scale. On this micrometer, you can see that the 3 line matches this one on the thimble scale perfectly. That gives us a Vernier scale measurement of 0.003 millimeters. All we need to do now is add all of our scale measurements together. So we have our sleeve scale reading of 7.5 millimeters, our thimble scale reading of 0.33 millimeters, and our Vernier scale reading of 0.003 millimeters. That gives us a final reading of 7.833 millimeters. And that's it. You've taken a measurement with an analog micrometer, accurate down to 0.001 of a millimeter. It's not that scary, right? And remember, what you've just learned applies to all kinds of micrometers. Before we wrap up, I did promise you some what not to do content. So let's rapid fire our way through some things that can stop you from getting an accurate reading and a couple of best practice points. First up, make sure you're positioning your micrometer square on to the workpiece. Second, don't over tighten the thimble when you're closing the micrometer. Tighten it fully using the ratchet stop until you hear 2 or 3 clicks. Don't keep going, or you'll throw off the measurement and potentially damage your micrometer. Next, always make sure that you check the zero before you begin. Along with not cleaning your micrometer before using it, this is one of the most common things that stops engineers from getting an accurate reading. We've all heard the old saying of measure twice and cut once, right? Well, ignoring the cutting part, it really applies to micrometers. Try to always take the measurement at least twice to make sure that it's accurate. With how sensitive micrometers are and how easy it is to get dust, debris or dirt on the workpiece, the anvil or the spindle, it's a good idea to measure more than once to check your own work. Next, misinterpreting the last visible line on your sleeve scale. As this is the base for your measurement, getting this wrong is the easiest way to throw off your numbers by the largest margin. And lastly, when you're done, make sure you store your micrometer properly. Pop it back in its case with the spindle wound back slightly so there's no pressure that could cause material creep over time. Doing this will help make sure that your micrometer is accurate for years to come. And that's it, the micrometer has officially been demystified, and you no longer have to be afraid of those tiny little lines and different scales on them. You're ready to head out into the big wide world of engineering and measure loads of tiny little things. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've learned anything, or you just like the content, be sure to drop us a like and subscribe to the Accu YouTube channel to get more fresh engineering content just like this. Let us know in the comments if there's anything you want to learn more about, and we'll do our best to get it in the pipeline. Thank you again for watching, and catch you in the next one.